Hello and welcome to Dishing Delights. My name is Jenica and today I'm going to share with you what I made for dinner this week. The first meal we are going to make is stuffed peppers. To start this recipe, I brown my ground beef, and when I do that, I like to add an onion to cook with my ground beef. I had my cast iron lightly coated in olive oil and I heated it up to a medium heat before I added my onion. I then added a pound of ground beef that I had thawed out. I only use about a half a pound of ground beef in our recipes for dinner, so I'm going to take half of this ground beef mixture and keep it for another night. This keeps our food waste down, and it also helps me save time later on in the week when I can take an ingredient and cook it once and use it twice. Tonight I'm going to do that with both the ground beef and the rice. To that ground beef I added in taco seasoning and some water. I then just cooked it for a few minutes until it was thoroughly combined. Once that was done, I took it off the heat and I set it aside to cool. In my Instant Pot, I am going to cook up 2 cups of rinsed white rice and 2 cups of water. I'm then going to try out the rice setting on my Instant Pot. I usually use another rice method that's a little bit quicker. I'll link that video down in the description below, but this worked perfectly fine today. While that rice is cooking, I'm going to prepare my peppers. I'm just cutting the ends off and pulling the ribs and seeds out. These peppers came from my in-laws. I'm going to be uploading a video of what we did with most of our other produce that we got from them this weekend, so stay tuned for that. I am taking some of my block of my white cheddar cheese and I'm shredding that. And for some creaminess, I'm going to add in some queso fresco to that as well. And now that the rice is cooked, we are going to scoop out a few spoonfuls and then we're going to make up our stuffed peppers. Now I'm going to take the meat mixture, cheese, some salsa, and I'm going to add that into the rice. You could add anything that you would like into this. You could add some diced green chilies, some olives, some corn if you want to, or you can just keep it simple just like this. While I'm stuffing peppers, I am going to preheat my air fryer at 350 degrees for 5 minutes, and I cook these at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. The last 5 minutes of that cook time, I added the cheese on top so it could brown. If you have leftover rice and meat mixture, this would work great in quesadillas or turned into an enchilada filling. Now that the peppers are made, I'm going to add them into the air fryer at 350 for 20 minutes. 15 minutes in, I'm going to add the cheese and then I'm going to put them back in the air fryer. And that is what's for dinner tonight. These were amazing. The second day we made catfish and hush puppies. I'll link the video down in the description below for that as well. Wednesday, I made chicken breast and some potatoes and veggies. For another quick air fryer meal, I am going to cut up some potatoes, onions, and peppers, and I'm going to cook it with a whole boneless, skinless chicken breast. To these vegetables that I diced up, I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil and some Chicago steak seasoning. And to the chicken breast, I'm going to add some Cajun seasoning, and I'm going to make sure that it's all coated. In a preheated air fryer, I'm going to add both my veggies and my chicken breast, and I'm going to cook this on 350 for 25 minutes. And I'm going to flip that chicken halfway through. After 15 minutes, I'm going to give those veggies a stir, and I'm going to flip that chicken. This was after 25 minutes at 350 degrees. This is a pretty big chicken breast, so it wasn't cooked to temperature yet, so I added it back into the air fryer for 5 more minutes. When I did that, I added a little coating of hot pepper jelly for a little glaze, and it turned out so delicious. And now I'm going to serve a plate up, and that is what's for dinner tonight. The next night I made a chicken with homemade tomato sauce and cheese. I will have this video uploaded later on this week. This was one of my favorites. On to the next recipe that has been on my meal plan for weeks, but it keeps getting bumped off. I'm finally making huli huli chicken. This is a taste of home recipe, and for this recipe you are going to need some brown sugar, ketchup, soy sauce, sherry or chicken broth, but I ended up using white wine vinegar, some ginger, garlic, and some chicken thighs. I use ginger very rarely, so I just buy it and then I keep it in the freezer, and I just tear it off a chunk at a time and then use it in dishes. I actually found it way easier to shred that ginger when it was frozen, so I like that little keep it in the freezer tip. Now that all my ingredients are together, I'm going to whisk it up. When I tasted it, it was missing a little bit of something, so I added some maple syrup to it, and that was a great addition. Now I'm just going to let my chicken thighs marinate in this, and I'm going to set it aside. For the rest of my chicken thighs, I'm going to take some mango habanero sauce that I have. This is my husband's favorite Buffalo Wild Wings sauce, and I'm going to add that to my chicken thighs. Because it was the end of a bottle, I just added a little bit of water to get all of that goodness out, and then I wanted to try a little brown sugar added to this, and I really like that, so I think we're going to do that again. Now that my chicken thighs are marinating, I'm going to take these drumettes and I'm just going to coat them in some Cajun seasoning. Cajun seasoning has been our go-to for the last month and a half. And yet again, I need to know what your favorite Cajun seasonings are because I'm going to have to replace this very soon. To go along with that chicken, I'm just going to add a little foil pack onto the grill as well. This is my go-to because I know that everybody loves it. I just take potatoes and onions and peppers and whatever else I have on hand in my fridge. Corn is a good one, zucchini, because this is always a favorite amongst everybody. Now you can't forget your butter. You can use olive oil or any other oil to this as well, but this time I chose butter. Are we surprised by that? Absolutely not. And of course, I'm also going to add my Chicago steak seasoning because I am predictable. Now I'm going to package everything up, hand it over to my husband, and then he grilled this with some friends and brought back all the goodness. We did have a few flare-ups. He said it got too dark outside to grill. But we ended up using a lot of this chicken and leftovers, and the next morning I took the leftover potatoes and made a sausage and egg hash, and it was so delicious with that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this week's What's for Dinner, and if you would like more videos like this, please like and subscribe down below and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload my next video.